McGraw and Company.
Hi, Chris Janson here. How are you?
Good morning, Chris. Thanks for calling in today. How are you?
Thank you. Doing great. Thank you.
We cannot listen to By Mom without any tissues, so thank you for making us all emotional with that.
Hey, thank you very much. I appreciate it. One of my good buddies, Brandon Kinney, who actually is the co-writer on the song, his mother passed away, and it was just a weird time, and of course a hard time for him. And like friends do, I mean, we were just talking and kind of praying every day, and that was the original inspiration behind it. I woke up, man, in the middle of the night, like 2:00 in the morning, and had this idea by Mom, and had some lyrics in my head. So I jotted it down on my phone, and I texted him, in the wee hours of the morning. I said, hey, when you wake up, give me a shout. I think we got a song we need to write. And we did. And By Mom was created. And, it's very true to life. I mean, it started out just as a legacy, maybe just as a kind of a healing mechanism, if you will. And then quickly, it just turned into something so much greater than that, with lines in the song like, when you realize you're somebody that somebody loves more than themselves, which was true in that case, but it's true in a lot of people's cases too. And is relatable to a lot of folks, especially, ones who have a great relationship with their mother. So, I mean, I knew from the get-go we had something special. We picked it as the single, and I'm glad we did.
Chris, when I first listened to it, it was one of those reminders for me, who I still have my parents, like, you better appreciate your parents while they're on this earth, and you better say I love you to them. And we just had a baby a few weeks ago, too. So you have this whole new appreciation. Congrats. Thank you. You have this whole new appreciation for your family and your parents being here with you still.
Is this your first baby?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, so you're already that person. You already love something more than you love yourself. See, you're that person on the other side of the spectrum in regards to the song. So, and that's exactly why we wrote it. When you realize you're somebody that somebody loves more than themselves, it's like the greatest gift in life, man.
Chris Janson is our guest. So, what is your first song that you ever wrote? Let's go back to the original Chris Janson file. What's that song?
Sure, it's called "Shoot Off the Locks." Believe it or not, I wrote it with Trey Bruce out of Nashville as a songwriter, and then Trey and a guy named Duff McKagan, who was the bass player for Guns N' Roses and Velvet Revolver. So I started my songwriting career out with the rock and roll world, like the cream of the crop in the rock and roll world. That's how I started my songwriting career, and those were the first two songs that I ever wrote.
Can you maybe give us a little taste of this song? Like, would you sing us some words?
Yeah, let me see. Get a gun. Oh, yeah.
Come on.
The hook line is, get a gun, shoot off the locks, don't put my music in a box.
Hey,
I love it.
that's
There we
good.
go.
I like that hook right there.
Thanks for asking. It took me a second because I legit had to go back in the back of my brain and figure that out. But I hadn't thought about that song since you asked, but I'm glad you did. Thank you.
It's kind of interesting. You started in punk rock and you enjoy hip-hop music. So would we see maybe a country hip-hop song dropping?
Well, on my last album I wrote a song called Say About Me, where I talk about my Bentley and my F-350 and just weird, cool, erratic. And they were like, hey, you should do a collaboration on this song. And I'm like, oh, gosh, because here's the last thing I wanted to do. Last thing I wanted to do was have a collaboration with somebody who, just meant nothing to me. And so we ended up reaching out to Offset, and he was totally down with doing it. So if you go back and listen on the digital release, like on Apple, of Say About Me from the Real Friends album, the last album, you'll hear the version of me and Offset doing Say About Me together. Pretty sick track. So that was like my 1 foot into hip hop at one point.
Kind of a hip hop flair on Truck Yeah. Who does it better, you or Tim McGraw?
Oh, hey, that's a great point on the hip hop flair on Truck. Yeah, I forgot about that one too. Thank you. Gosh, see, you've done your homework and I have just not. But honestly, I think Tim did it great. Tim has recorded several of my songs. 2 of them have become really big hits. One including Truck Yeah, the other including How I'll Always Be. The one thing I love about McGraw recording my songs in particular is that he doesn't stray from my demos or my work tapes. He literally does them pretty much exactly verbatim how I did them. When he sings it, he sounds like Tim, and that's been a great pleasure as a songwriter of mine to have the McGraw songs recorded. I mean, the way I look at it is like money's money, cuts are cuts, whether it's my hit or somebody else's hit, as long as I wrote it, I win either way. So it's such a huge deal to have, another person that you respect recording your music, and I'll take that any day of the week.
I love the stories behind the songs. But hey, Janson, one last quick question for you before we let you go. Who's an artist who has contacted you to do a collaboration or a duet and you had to deny them for one reason or another? It doesn't have to be because you just didn't want to, but it probably happened to you at one point where you asked someone to do a duet and they probably said no as well.
Honestly, and I don't mean this to sound cocky, but first of all, I've not been asked to do a duet, which it's kind of a juxtaposition. I'm kind of sort of glad, honestly, because it's like, oh God, if it was somebody I didn't want to do one with, how awkward that'd be to say no, and it's hard to say no. You don't want to be that guy.
Yep.
I sound like Will Ferrell when I'm talking right now. And then, but then everybody, but on the other side of it, this sounds real humble, of course, but on the other side of it, everybody I've ever asked to do one has said yes.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, so I'm grateful for that. So, if you look back through my catalog of stuff that's out, I've got 2 duets on this new record. One being with Travis Tritt, which is just totally killer, and then one being with somebody I can't tell you yet because we're finalized and everything. But it's definitely it's going to be like the pinnacle duet for sure, and it's just killer. I mean, dude. By the way, it's the first song I've ever recorded. I'll leave you with this. It's the first song that I've ever recorded that I didn't write. And I'm real. You know me. I'm like real stringent about writing all the songs. Songs and the whole thing. Always have been. But this friend of mine, this fishing buddy of mine, sent me a song that he wrote by himself, and he was like, "What do you think?" And I was like, I think we should do a duet. I just threw it out there. I thoroughly expected him to say no or just not respond, which would have been even worse. And just so anybody's ever wondering, I would rather a strict, hard no than just no response. But so I said, I think we should do a duet. He hits me right back. He's like, yeah, me too. I'm in. So I was like, oh, crap, awesome. So honestly, I'm pretty excited about it. It's going to be big, and you guys keep an eye out for looking for that. Talk it up as much as you want, because trust me, it's gonna blow the doors off, and it's something totally different than I've ever done.
Do we know who this person is very well?
Absolutely. Okay. Yep. I'd say in our genre, I can give you this. I'd say in our genre, he is definitely top tier above everybody.
Oh, sweet.
I mean, he's I mean,
got us on our toes, Janson.
Playing. There's some big venues or whatever, but the biggest are stadiums, and like Goliath stadiums, and that's what this guy's playing. So
that's awesome.
It's we've made friends. We're fishing buddies. You can look back through my social media accounts and go fishing if you like. No pun intended.
Awesome. Well, hey, Janson, thank you so much, buddy, as always.
You guys are awesome. Thanks for the support on By Mom, too. I appreciate it, and it's great to talk to you guys. Honestly, I appreciate you.